The sky did not break with noise. It broke quietly and only one person noticed. The last map of the sky. The night, the sky cracked open. The world dictated. Cities slept beneath artificial lights. Oceans rose and fell in quiet rhythm. Somewhere, a train crashed a bridge. And somewhere else, a child turned in their sleep. Life continued, steady, unaware, while something ancient shifted far above. And only Jack noticed. He lay on the flat roof of his grandmother's house, hands folded behind his head, staring into the night. He had always done this. The stars felt familiar to him, not like distant objects, but like memories waiting to be understood. That night, the sky felt different. A thin fracture stretched across the stars, not bright like lightning, not dark like clouds. It was subtle, unnatural, as if the universe itself had been gently torn. Jack sat up, his heart racing, not with fear, but with recognition. Then the light fell. It did not blaze or burn. It drifted downwards, slow and deliberate, disappearing beyond the hills towards the old forest, where no one went after dark. The light vanished without a sound. Jack stood. He grabbed his jacket, his notebook, and the compass his mother had given him years ago. She had pressed into his palm before leaving on the research journey from which she never returned. Some directions don't exist on maps, she had said. Trust this when the world feels confused. The moment Jack stepped beneath the trees, the compass needle began to spin. The trees felt old at that time. Trees rose like pillars of a forgotten world. Their roots rushed in deep into the earth. The air hummed softly, alive with something unseen. Jack walked without counting steps. Time seemed to lose meaning here. When he reached the clearing, that night had not moved closer to the morning. At the center lay the fallen light. It was not a stone. It was a spear, smooth, metallic, covered in symbols that flowed like liquid stars. The grass around it glowed faintly, growing taller, greener as it responded to its presence. Jack hesitated, then reached out. The moment his fingers touched the surface, the world dissolved. The forest vanished, the sky unfolded. Jack felt himself standing and falling at the same time, suspended in the vast space filled with moving images, worlds orbiting unfamiliar suns, oceans glowing beneath alien moons, cities floating between dimensions. And maps? Countless maps, drawn not on paper, but across the stars themselves. Then a voice echoed through the space. "You are late." Jack steadied his breath. I didn't know I was expected. No one ever does. The images narrowed to a single map, torn, incomplete, its edges fading in darkness. "This is the last map of the sky," the voice said, "and it is breaking." Jack understood. The crack he had seen was not only in the sky, but it was in reality itself. The invisible paths connecting worlds were collapsing. Civilizations once linked by sheer skies were drifting apart, isolated and unaware. Why show me this?" Jack asked. "Why me?" The images shifted. Two familiar faces appeared, older, tired, but unmistakable. His parents. Jack's breath caught. "Because you remember," the voice said, "and because you listen." Like pulled from despair, wrapping around his chest. Pain flared briefly, sharp and focused, then faded into warmth. When Jack opened his eyes, despair was gone. In its place lay a folded map, glowing softly like captured starlight. And somewhere above the trees, dawn began to rise. The map did not show roads. It showed possibilities. Each time Jack unfolded it, the path shifted, responded to its thoughts, his doubts, his questions. He kept it hidden, avoiding the villagers, whispers about strange lights and restless nights. The map's first pull led him to the sea, not to a place but to a moment. At the edge of the cliffs, where waves struck stone like steady drums, the air bent around him. The horizon folded inward. Jack stepped forward. The world turned inside out. He landed on the deck of a ship sailing through the sea. Sailing through the sky. Clouds rolled beneath his hull. The sails shimmered with unfamiliar symbols. The crew were human and not eyes reflecting distant galaxies, skin marked with constellations. Woman stepped forward, calm and composed. "You carry the map," she said. "That makes you important and dangerous." I don't know how to use it," Jack replied. She nodded. "That is why it chose you." Her name was Kyle. She was a skyfarer, a guardian of the paths that once connected worlds. She explained what Jack had only begun to understand. Long ago, The universe had been bound together by living roots, shared skies that allowed worlds to exchange knowledge, cultures, and stories. But those roots were dying, not from war, but from silence. Worlds had stopped listening, curiosity faded, stories were forgotten, and without attention, the paths weakened. Together they traveled through cities built inside rings of lights, across deserts where time flowed backward at sunset, into the libraries carved into drifting stone, where knowledge whispered to those who slowed down enough to hear it. Jack learned that courage that did not feel always strong. Sometimes it felt like doubt, taken one step forward anyway. The final destination lay beyond a region marked only by absence. No stars, no sound, only silence. This is where my parents are, Jack said quietly. No one questioned him. At the center of the void floated in an ancient station, broken but alive, with faint signals. Inside, Jack found them, older, worn, smiling. We tried to hold the paths open, his mother said, touching his face gently. But somewhere had to go back. Someone had to remember. The wall was listening, his father added. The truth was simple and painful. To restore the map, someone had to become part of it, not belong to one world, but to all. A living bridge, a storyteller between skies. Fear rose inside Jack, but so peace. He had never truly belonged to one place. He unfolded the map one final time. It wrapped around him like the universe remembering itself back on Earth. Years later, people sometimes felt the stars were closer. Stories traveled in unexpected ways. Voices appeared in radio static. Dreams carried memories, but no one remembered learning. So, thank you for listening to my wait. What just happened to me? Oh yeah. Yes, yeah. So, and if you listen carefully, very carefully, you could hear footsteps when maps ended. And the quiet voice saying, "You are not lost. You're only beginning." So, now thank you for listening to my story, The Last Map of the Sky.